Hi guys, my name is Hassan Chammout. I am the creator of Visions. I received the award for Best Acting Performance in an Experimental Short Film. I am from Michigan. I am of Lebanese descent. I am an Arab American and proud, and this film was shot here in Michigan as well. Now, some inspirations behind the film include a lot of films I grew up watching, including Twitches, The Conjuring, Insidious, Coraline, a lot of things to do with family, a lot of things to do with loss, small casts. I really enjoy those really intimate films where there's a really small cast that really can exemplify a meaning and get that across to the people watching. But I have to say the overall inspiration for this film was just people dealing with grief, people dealing with loss, and how we all deal with it differently, how we all wish we could have these people back, but in reality, it's never going to happen, unfortunately. But that's just something we have to move on with. But this is kind of the opposite of that. It's someone that will do anything to get a person back, but it doesn't end up going the way they wanted to. Now, I did have a dream one night during a thunderstorm because being that I hate thunderstorms and they terrify me, I ended up knocking out, and I remember having this insane dream of seeing someone that looks exactly like me staring at me in the woods. And it terrified me, and it got me to where I am today, to creating this film about someone that wants to resurrect their twin brother and hopefully bring them back to life because their grief is too much and they don't want to live in a world without him. But it ends up having really dire and horrible consequences. Now, production for this film was extremely difficult because I wanted each and every single scene to have meaning behind it. The camera angle, the setting, the type of clothing that I was wearing, the music that's happening, the dialogue that's occurring, the voices in my head. I wanted all of them to have meaning and them to be intertwining with the setting. So, for example, with the opening scene, you see Blake sitting alone on a bench and you're like wondering where he is, and then you notice he's actually attending a funeral at a cemetery. But if you look around him, there's no other stones for people that have passed. There's no one else sitting. There's no one else attending this funeral. That is all intentional. I did not film this scene in a cemetery. I actually filmed it at a park, at an empty park, because the reason I did so is I wanted it to seem so lonely. I wanted it to seem so depressing, and I wanted it to show how much grief and hatred that Blake has, being that, first of all, no one showed up. Secondly, that he lost his only brother. He lost the only person that truly loved him. And he's there all alone by himself. So that beginning scene, for me, definitely has a lot of meaning to it. And then there's also a scene at the end that kind of intertwines with that. So if you've watched the film, there's something that directly intertwines with the scene. You guys could probably see a contrast in between the two takes, the first take and then the last take of the film. You're seeing two different settings, but two different versions of Blake. Now, filming in my country, it was kind of, I want to say easy, but at the same time, complicated, being that Michigan weather is very unpredictable, where one day it would be raining, one day it would be snowing, one day it would be boiling hot, and you like have to wear all these layers, you have to wear different clothing, and filming for this and production for this took over 2 years, and you guys will see why watching the film, but I will tell you one of the reasons why is because, first of all, college got in the way a lot. I don't actually, college didn't get in the way per se, it's just kind of took over a lot of my life. And after graduating, I was able to get all those little nitpicks and like pieces that I wanted to get together and finally create this film that you guys have watched or haven't watched it. If you haven't, make sure to check it out. So I think the production of 2 years was worth it. Looking back at the film, I'm happy at the way it looks. And if I had filmed it all in a year, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have come out to the way I would have wanted it to be, because I was constantly working on rewriting the script, putting scenes in that I didn't want, putting scenes in that I was favorable more towards the others. And the reason I say putting scenes in that I didn't want, I wanted to see how it all came together, because obviously if you're a director, you're a creator, you want to put out the best work possible and you want everything to have a really good flow to it. And that's something that I strived for. And I'm pretty sure I accomplished that with the creation of this film. Now, this next question for you: what role does cinema have in society? For me, I think cinema is supposed to be an escape for us. Now, when I say an escape, I mean it's supposed to be a way that we get away from our own problems. But it's all right if watching these films also helps us come together and help us discover that we are grieving, that we are happy, that we're lonely. Just kind of a wake up call to each and every single individual person to perceive it the way they want to. So I do think the role of cinema in society is definitely like particular to every single person, and it's unique to everyone, which is why I love cinema so much, which is why I love watching films, because every single director has a different vision, and bringing that to life with a group of actors, with producers, with the director, everyone, all of them intertwined, just makes it such a work of art. So I think cinema can be whatever people think it needs to be, but I think as long as you're creating a message, as long as you're creating art, that's all you have to do. Now, in the age of streamings, metaverses, and artificial intelligence, where do I see the future of cinema? I hope it continues to be as unique and human as possible, because replacing us with robots is not going to do anything. It's only going to take away that spark that cinema has. And if we're using AI to create these things in a way that takes away opportunities from actors, from directors, from all the people that are behind the scenes creating the stuff, then we are just simply becoming puppets. And I definitely think AI is extremely scary. I don't foresee myself using AI in the future at any time, just with the way that I see it today. So I hope for the future of cinema that we continue to stick to what we've always done, which is using actors that are actually human, using directors that are passionate, creating a healthy lifestyle, creating a healthy environment for everyone on set, and continuing to push that, because that's definitely something we need a lot more. Thankfully, watching a lot of films today and seeing interviews, I see that the Hollywood world has changed a lot, in a lot of ways for good, in a lot of ways for bad, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that we continue to move towards a common goal of creating cinema that is phenomenal, that is comfortable for everyone on set. And if it is uncomfortable, then addressing that as soon as possible. Now, this next question I really like. It's for independent filmmakers. Do I like the hybrid model, and do I think it has more benefits than losses? I absolutely love the hybrid model, and let me explain why. The reason I do is because so many people, without the era of social media, it was so difficult to get films out there, to get word of mouth going. With the hybrid model, with screenings, with film festivals, we're able to express ourselves. We're able to introduce our films to other parts of the world that would have never heard our films, that would have never been able to discover our projects. And especially with how expensive everything is, obviously with like bigger films and a lot of different sets, like they have the budget to spend money to send it overseas, to get it in all these different theaters. But for independent filmmakers especially, it's so difficult. And just having this hybrid model, it is definitely a blessing. I definitely think a downside of it is not being able to go to the cinema in person if someone doesn't have enough money, but that's more so something to do with being more accessible. So I wish there was a way to be more accessible, to watch these films in person. Thankfully, film festivals do that option. But I think for people that have not as much money, there should be something else to do, which is why I think that hybrid model of posting it on social media, of posting it on the internet, is such a great way to get that film out there and hopefully get them exposure. Do I have any new work in development that I would like to share? I have a lot of works in development that I would love to share. I can't give too many details, but I am actually currently in the pre-production, like the pre-production of a film that I've been planning for maybe 3 years now. I've just had it in the back of my head, and I've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to execute it. Now is that time. It is another horror film. I am also working on a family drama. I'm working on a witchcraft film. I'm working on a nature film. Just all these different things in the back of my head that I'm currently writing the scripts for, trying to figure out how many people I need, if it's just another singular cast, or if it needs like 8 or 10 people. There's also like a high school drama that I want to work on, like a series that I want to do. There's just so much I want to create, but with the limitation of money as well as people's schedules, I do find it difficult at the moment, but I'm hoping sometime in the future, when I am a huge director slash actor slash singer, I'm able to bring all these things to life. And I just think with the films that I've created, I've been able to kind of break the status quo. Obviously, other people have done so, but as someone that's been told, like, no, you can't create a film all by yourself, you can't have a one-person cast, that can make any sense. I did that, and it received universal acclaim. Now, with this film, I do have an amazing second person in the film. Her name is Hassan Chammout, and she was phenomenal as a psychiatrist. She definitely brought this film to life because I think the psychiatrist just gives so much more depth to what Blake was going through. So I definitely think don't listen to anything anyone tells you. The sky is the absolute limit. I am constantly being told that everything I'm doing is impossible, that it's not going to work out, that I'm only wasting my time. But the only time wasted was giving those people the time of day. If I'm not doing that, then I am flourishing in life and I am succeeding, and I don't care who they are. I don't care how you're related to me. I don't care who in the heck you think you are. You can achieve anything, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise, because just once stepping out of that box and submitting that first film I created to so many different short films festivals, I was blown away. And I said, you know what? I can do this, and you can do it too. Now, while those work and developments are happening, I am currently working on my podcast called The Horror Headquarters. You guys can find that on all different platforms. Any streaming platform where you can listen to podcasts. It's called The Horror Headquarters. I absolutely love it. It's all about horror-based things, about talking about horror films, horror landscapes, my own horror experiences, and just about how the world of horror is changing with every single film and every single new investigation, like murder, crimes, true crime, all these different things. And again, just super grateful for the Diete International Film Awards for giving me this amazing recognition for Best Acting Performance in an Experimental Short Film for Visions. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your year. Happy New Year. If you guys are seeing this in 2025 or right before 2024 ends, happy New Year. Go get them. Keep creating cinema, and continue to inspire people.